let me say this. There's cameras all over the neighborhood. There's Ring doorbell cameras and everything. I know that an argument happened, and the only two that were there were you and him. He's dead, you're not.
The video you are watching are the final moments before this woman, Melissa Turner, took the life of her boyfriend Matthew Trussler, and right now she thinks she can get off scot-free with her terrible acting, whether that means churning out some tears or coming up with absurd lies.
I think I cared about was him.
I would never stab him.
But faced with the reality that her crimes have been recorded, Melissa's act will come crumbling down, revealing that what happened to Matthew is far more horrific than anyone realizes.
I got Matthew on the back porch with stab wounds. And the only people that were there were you. The only person that could have done this is you. What do you think happened?
On October 19th, 2019, police officers in Riverview, Florida received a 911 call from 26-year-old Melissa Turner, a cosplay model reporting that her fiancé was unresponsive on the back patio of the house.
What's the address of the emergency?
Please, someone here, please, possible.
Okay, ma'am, what's the address there? Okay, and just say that one more time, make sure I have it right.
Riverview,
Okay.
Florida.
And what's the phone number you're calling from?
It's his phone. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay, tell me exactly. Ma'am, take a breath because I can hear you. Ma'am, I cannot hear you when you're yelling. Tell me what's wrong.
He is non-responsive.
When officers arrived at the house they shared, they found Melissa with blood all over her and smeared all over parts of the house, and found her fiancé, 25-year-old Matthew Trussler, outside on the patio, dead with multiple stab wounds, including to his back. However, the murder weapon was nowhere to be found. While officers picked apart what was left of the scene, Melissa, still covered in blood, agreed to talk to investigators at the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, claiming she wanted to help them figure out what had happened to Matthew. Due to the officers participating in this interrogation being undercover, their faces and voices have been masked.
Water? Okay, I'll just grab that. Is that something he was grabbing you already, do you know?
A lot less glamorous than they make it on TV, right? It's not too cold for you. I think I'd still have triggers right now, even if it were 100 degrees in here. Your Fitbit's at lying. Do you have one?
I'm sorry?
The Fitbit smartwatch.
No, I don't.
This is some cold water for you.
Thank you.
I tried to find some nice soft tissues.
It's okay.
That's what I was able to get, okay?
I'm not too concerned.
I just, you look very upset.
Some of myself. I've got blood all over my face.
I'm sure you've had better days.
Melissa, who was the only living person found at the scene, wasted no time telling detectives just how devastated she was, with her heart racing, hands shaking, and barely holding it together. Investigators often note that when someone repeatedly emphasizes how upset they are, it can sometimes be an attempt to steer attention toward themselves, rather than explaining what happened.
And today's date, just for the record, is Friday, October 18, 2019. It's 10:51 hours. Met you over there. And Miss Turner, we're gonna go at your pace, okay? It's okay. Listen, you don't.
Date called me because a month and a half ago, we went to Cade's and we picked out a living room set, but it was on back order. It was supposed to be here this week, but it was delayed.
Okay. It's
And it's gonna show up, and I'm gonna have this couch. We picked it so it would be a half my chair. It was a love seat with a console in the middle. It was supposed to be me. And it's gonna show up, and what the do I do with it now?
I don't know.
It never even got to sit it with me.
I'm so sorry. Look, I know this is difficult for you, okay? So we're gonna go, we're gonna take our time.
Okay.
You know, obviously, you're very upset, and I can understand why, okay? Let me just go over a couple more things with you real quick. I had asked you if you were willing to come back here and talk to us back at the house. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the deputies transported you?
Yes.
Did anybody put any handcuffs or anything on you?
No.
All right. Just so you know, that door right there is unlocked, okay? If you walk out the door at any time during the interview, if you want to, you go to the left and you're in the parking lot. All right? You know that you're not under arrest and you don't have to talk to us, right? I told you that back at the scene. The reason I'm telling you this is because I'm not here to try to trick you. There's no tricks here, all right? I'm just trying to figure out what happened.
Do you want to keep wearing those gloves, or do you want to take them off? Because it's my understanding a deputy had you sign something, or you were handling a pen, so he had you put those on because of blood.
Bloody because I was covered in his blood.
To take them off, you're more than welcome to take them off.
It's completely up to you. I just didn't know.
If it's uncomfortable, your hands will start your hands start getting sweaty and that, and get all yucky.
I'll leave them on for now.
Okay.
I don't know if I can handle just taking them off and see that the blood on my hands.
The detectives patiently listen as Melissa claims she had been asleep from 11 p.m. until 8 a.m. before calling 911. But there was one piece of evidence that would blow this story completely wide open. Cameras from inside Melissa and Matthew's living room. Cameras that told a very different story. The footage shows Melissa screaming at Matthew at around 4 a.m. in the morning. Despite his attempts to stay calm and get away, she follows him, hunched over, shouting, clearly angry with him. However, at the station, she swears that she was going to cooperate fully with the detectives, but less than 2 minutes into that promise, she tells her first lie of many.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol? All right. In fairness, when I was talking to you earlier back at the house over there, I smelled a little bit of alcohol on your breath.
We were drinking last night.
No, that's fine, and there's nothing wrong with drinking. I just want to make sure that I cover that, so I know what your state is when I'm asking you questions.
Yeah, no, we were drinking last night,
okay.
but obviously not since I woke up.
When's the last time you had a drink?
Probably 10-ish last night, 10:30 maybe.
Okay. I'm not trying to pick on you, and I don't want you to get upset with me. I'm just trying to cover it. In fairness to you, I could smell it, so I don't want to. Listen, the only thing I have in this world is my word. I don't want to play any tricks or anything. I could smell it, so I wanted to ask you about it. Is that fair?
That's fine, because, I mean, I get up early all the time for 4:30 in the morning. So by 10 o'clock at night, I'm normally spent, and I told whoever I was talking to there that I remember just being tired. Yeah, we were drinking, but I just remember being tired and curling up in the chair.
Who do you live there with? What's his name?
Matthew.
Matthew? What's Matthew's last name?
Trussler.
Can you spell the last name?
Trussler.
And you two live there together?
Yes.
Does anyone?
We bought the house together. It's only us.
When did you all buy the house?
January.
Of this year? How long have you been dating Matthew?
2.5 years. We're engaged.
You said you had some animals there at the house?
4 cats, a dog, and a snake.
Wow. So you like animals?
We do like animals. I was telling the deputies, he was like an animal whisperer.
Yeah, I know. I know when we were leaving there, you wanted to make sure they were safe and okay.
The cat that went over to the neighbors, Blue, the gray one, adopted us. She jumped into the truck with him one night when he was coming home from a friend's house and just slept in his lap.
Mm-hmm.
He loved animals.
When's the last time you said you went to bed? What time did you start there? What time did you go to bed last night?
I mean, like I said, we were having some drinks. But I remember getting really tired around 10, and I just wanted to go to bed. And 10:30-ish was when I remember. 10:30, 11 maybe is when I remember going to curl up on the chair, because I slept on that big chair that's in my little office area downstairs.
Okay.
What were you guys drinking?
Vodka.
Just vodka? Anything else?
I mean, vodka and water, just,
Were you having drinks or were you guys taking shots?
we were taking shots.
Would you say, now I don't know what your alcohol tolerance is, what would you say you were intoxicated? When you went to sleep?
I was taking, he can drink, he was always, he could drink you under the table.
Does he
He
have a
had a
drink?
high metabolism, and he was just always running through booze. I remember I made a specific point of it even earlier in the night to tell him, I want to stop. Let's take a break. And for an hour and a half, at least earlier in the night, I didn't drink a single thing. I just had water, and we ate and everything. We had we ate dinner, and that was it. And I mean, I got drunk, yeah, but not obliterated. I would say I was beyond being just buzzed. Because we did get drunk, but that's what we did. We were there at the house ourselves. That's what we would do on a night when we didn't have to get up and do anything the next morning. We had drinks. He always liked drinking. He was a drinker.
Would you say he had a drinking problem or no?
He had a drinking problem.
Okay.
I can't bullshit you. I mean, his mom will tell you the same thing. He did. He would admit it himself.
What about you?
Me? No.
Besides the alcohol last night, were there any drugs?
No.
We're not the drug police, so
No.
I'm just asking.
No, he would never touch any of that. Because that was a deal breaker for me, and he knew that. He knew if he touched anything like that again, that he would lose me.
Okay.
That was my number one deal breaker with him.
And I'm assuming.
So, the drug police, he was not shy about it in his past when he was younger. He was into hard drugs.
Okay.
But it's been years since then because he knew that was my number one deal breaker. He touched it again, we were done. I didn't give a shit.
In reality, Matthew's family and friends say he had struggled with alcohol for some time, but they noticed his drinking escalated after he began appearing in Melissa's OnlyFans content. He reportedly told friends he didn't enjoy filming the videos and didn't want to be part of them, and some believe Melissa's insistence on his participation was pushing him toward a breaking point. And in a relationship that was strained, it was only a matter of time before things spiraled out of control.
So last night when you guys were eating dinner, it was just the two of you alone?
Yeah.
Having some drinks and eating some Mexican food?
Yeah.
Who doesn't love Mexican food? I love it. All right, so after dinner, what happens? What do you guys do next? We're at about 9:45 now, I'd say.
Yeah, that sounds right. I was the Truly, the hard seltzers that have
Hard seltzers.
the hard seltzers that maybe about the same as much as beer. I was having one of those. He was having a beer, Corona.
Did you drink a White Claw?
No.
You know what that is?
I know what they are. Yeah.
That's like the new fad.
I know. I don't. They're too sweet for me.
You're not into that? Okay.
They're too sweet for me.
Okay.
I like the Trulies. There's less sweetness and it's less sugar and stuff.
So you're drinking hard seltzer and he's drinking.
I was drinking that. So I mean, I was having that. He was having a beer. I was basically having the girly version of a beer.
Okay.
Essentially. And we were doing that. We were just talking about things. We were talking about we pulled up the credit card, the Capital One, because we card.
I'm sorry?
We share a card.
Uh-huh.
The Capital One card. We share a card. We were bringing it up and looking at it because of the charges and everything on it, and because it's a cashback code. And our goal was always, whenever the cashback got to 1,000, we were going to take ourselves on a vacation. And we had just hit around 600.
Right. When you guys were talking about the vacations and all that stuff, how long did that last?
I don't know, we kind of got lost doing it. We were just talking about it, dreaming, having a good time, maybe 30 minutes just on that.
And then once you guys wrapped that up, what happened next? Or what'd y'all do?
I mean, we were talking about vacations and money and stuff at the same time, and I feel like I know what happened next. As I've been having a stomach issue lately where I just start burping a lot and I get the hiccups. And from the hiccups I throw up. I didn't get to throw it because he helped me calm down and just control my breathing and like make the hiccups go away. And that's what happened next. But for me, it's a really exhausting process. You may be hiccuping for 15 minutes. And I mean, sometimes it's longer for me. I mean, normally the hiccups can be anywhere from 10 or 15 minutes to it's been an hour of just straight hiccups. And that's annoying as shit and exhausting at the same time. So I'm not sure exactly how long I had the hiccups last night, but I know that started up again. I don't know what it is with me.
What did he do while you had the hiccups?
He was just there with me, telling me to breathe, to calm down.
Was he trying to help you?
Absolutely. Breathe, calm down, hold my breath. He was breathing with me, helping me to steady myself.
And still just the two of you there, right?
Yes.
All right. So you don't know how long that lasts, but
I'm not sure exactly, no.
What do you do? What goes on next? What time do you think you had those hiccups?
10-ish, 10, around 10:50.
Is that you go to bed? Is that what you did next?
I think, well, you get talking when you get drinking and stuff, and he was still having his beers, and I remember he was just still going and talking about stuff, and I was kind of like, yeah, I'm here, but I want to go to bed. Kind of like one of those, like, kind of, like, I'm tired.
I'm married. I'm there with you. All right.
Like,
I know what you mean. So when you're tired, you're ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
And the other person wants to keep talking, and sometimes you're listening and you're doing the old head nod, but then when they say they ask you a question, they trick you. They're like, "Oh, you're not listening to me."
Especially because I would get up so much earlier than him, so like our sleep schedules were off.
4:30 is early.
And then he didn't wake up until 9 or something,
Right.
that our sleep schedules are always off. And so like I said, 10:30, 11, I'm just like doing that,
Up to this point, Matthew has been painted as the one without a job and struggling with alcohol, while Melissa appeared to be the hardworking provider, almost saint-like in comparison. It was a simple story, one that clearly placed the blame on one side. But the more she told her story, the more that carefully shaped image began to crack.
So you fall asleep in the chair in the office. Did you wake up at all during the night? What time did you wake up this morning?
Probably 20 minutes before. I don't know what time it was. I don't even know what time it is right now.
It's 11:33 a.m.
I don't know. I normally don't sleep in. But whatever time, I remember waking up and I didn't see him around. I saw the kitchen was. I didn't see him outside at first. I didn't see him there. I went upstairs and I checked the bedroom. I thought he went to bed upstairs. I checked upstairs. And then I came back down again. And I saw Farrah by the sliding glass door. She wanted to go outside, so I opened the door. I saw him. He was sitting in the chair, slumped over at the table. He was cold. I pulled him to the ground.
I'm sorry. I know this must be very difficult for you.
It feels like a dream. It feels like a nightmare because when I've had nightmares, this has been it. Losing him.
When you pulled him onto the ground, what did you do? What did you try to do? Or did you do anything?
I grabbed his his face. I tried to talk to him. His eyes were open. His pupils weren't doing anything, and that scared the shit out of me. I begged him to come back to me because I can't do this myself. I put my fingers. I tried to check for a pulse. I didn't know what to do. I ran in the house. I grabbed a cloth and put warm water on it and came back and did the same thing. I tried to start CPR. And then I went back in the house and I got my phone. It was on speakerphone with the operator while I was trying to get this.
I noticed that the house is 2 stories.
Yeah.
How many bedrooms are on the bottom?
No bedrooms on the bottom.
Where's the office?
It's if you walk in the front door, it's to the left.
It's to the left. Where's the kitchen?
So the stairs are in the middle, and
Okay.
it's around. It's a big circle, pretty much. So the office is to the left, but the kitchen's on the other side of the stairs.
So when you walked out of the office, you said you slept in the office last night, right? When you walked out of the office, you had to walk. You said you walked towards the outside. You didn't see him out there, right? And then, and then you went upstairs to check.
Yes.
But you had to pass the kitchen to go upstairs.
Yeah.
I've never been inside, so that's why I'm kind of asking.
So downstairs, there's the office, so the front door and the office, and then there's the laundry, the bathroom, and then the kitchen and the living room here, and then the stairs are in the middle. And I walked around, but I didn't see him.
You walked around where?
Around the whole bottom stairs.
In the kitchen?
Yeah, I
Living
went from
room?
the office to the laundry, the kitchen, to the living room, and then I didn't see him, so I went upstairs, but I didn't see him in bed. The bed was still made from whenever we made it the previous day. So I was confused, and I went back downstairs, and so the dog wanted to go outside, and so I was going to let her out, and then when I was walking towards the sliding glass doors is when I saw him at the table.
According to Melissa, she had checked the kitchen first, yet never mentioned the blood covering the room or the trail leading to the patio where Matthew was found. Instead, she said she went upstairs to keep looking, and when investigators later asked why, her explanation only raised more doubts.
When you woke up, or did you hear anything?
No.
Last night?
No.
Like in the night?
No.
What do you think happened?
I mean, you understand just from our standpoint, obviously, we weren't there last night. If you could just take your best guess at what you thought could happen.
I don't know. I woke up to just see the kitchen a bloody mess.
Did anything happen between the two of you in the kitchen to cause that bloody mess? Did he have any issues with anybody else?
In what way do you mean?
Like, does he owe, I mean, is there anybody out there that wants to hurt him?
Shouldn't be. I mean, maybe my ex, he did try to shoot him before.
When was that?
2017, June, July.
Who's your ex?
Christopher. Hillsborough County, you guys are the ones that showed up to take him away. He
When's
spent
his
2
birthday?
nights in jail. His birthday is January 11th. January 28th, I don't remember, 1991.
Does he still live in Hillsborough County?
No, I believe he's living back in Polk County with Mommy.
Okay. When's the last time you talked to him?
The night he got arrested.
Do you know his phone number?
No.
And that was the June or July 2017 when he
It was June. The end of June.
What was he arrested for?
Domestic violence and deadly weapon, 2 counts for each. He got pissy because I had Matthew at the house. But mind you, he had just had a girl upstairs that he was sent on her way. But Matt was sick. He had picked him up from work and brought him to the house. I explained all of this to Chris, saying, he's sick. I'm going to pick up prescriptions now for him. He's sick as a dog. But I just adopted a new cat too. So we were, that night, happened to be downstairs in the living room, playing with the cat. Normally, whenever Matt would come over, if Chris was there, we would keep to my room, just to avoid conflict and all that. But we were downstairs, we had a new cat. Why shouldn't have been a problem? Like, he was just a girl upstairs in his room. But he had wanted to show his at night, and he came downstairs and started arguing with Matt, and Matt went upstairs because he put on his clothes, he was just gonna leave, but then Chris started yelling at me and back and forth yelling, and it ended up with me and Matt grabbed me and just started kissing me, and Chris had his phone, funny as shit, he was recording all of us the entire time, was just recording us kissing, and then he said something to Matt, and Matt turned and looked at him, and then Chris just whipped out Glock, pointing straight at him, intending to shoot him. And my dog stepped in front of the gun. And then he called the cops on himself. I have the video and everything. There's an intruder in my house. So he got arrested for that because he's just stupid.
Is that the last incident between the two of them?
Yes.
Does Christopher know where you all live?
I hope not.
I mean, have you told him?
No, absolutely not. He tried to message me on, social media and stuff, and I told him basically go yourself anytime you try to contact me.
When officers spoke with her ex, Christopher, he said Melissa hadn't always been like this. According to him, her personality began to change as her online following grew. By the end of their relationship, he described her as unpredictable, picking fights, yelling and screaming so loudly it echoed through the building. Security cameras from a neighbor's apartment would also pick up Melissa's voice. But for now, the detectives allow her to continue with her elaborate story.
You pointed to, just a second ago, you pointed to your right arm. Is he right-handed or left-handed?
He's right-handed.
Are you right-handed or left-handed?
I'm right-handed.
Did you see any other injuries anywhere else?
No, I remember.
Do you have any injuries on your person?
No,
Any scratches or cuts or anything?
none that I noticed. I was wearing...
You weren't wearing those gloves.
No.
The deputy at the scene gave them to you? Here, let me get the chest
Sorry.
Would you mind
I think
taking
I did grab the glass, though.
I was going to say, would you mind just taking those gloves off for me?
You put them right in that chest.
Yeah, I have a little cut on here. But
Can we see your...
If you want to.
right there.
And that's from what?
I think it's from grabbing the glass. Because I know there was the broken glass this morning. I'm sorry, this morning's not the clearest thing in my mind. Wait.
Do you know where or
I remember
what?
it was a Hard Rock glass, I believe, in the kitchen. And I think I picked up a piece of it on the floor.
So there was no arguing last night?
We were having a great time.
Was there anything physical, violent?
He was never violent. Not
Okay.
me.
Were you violent with him at all? You didn't push him or punch him, scratch him, anything like that?
No.
And he didn't do anything to you?
No. We were never like that. I mean, like I said, couples argue, but we never got to that point. We'd yell at each other and go to bed and wake up and be like, I'm sorry. And that was the end of it. Like, we'd move on from it.
So nothing happened last night for him to get upset or violent with you, right? Was there anything that happened or that would have caused you to get violent with him?
No.
Did you do anything to harm him? Do you know who harmed him? Before the cops showed up, did you move or remove anything from the house?
No.
Did you go anywhere?
No.
Talk to anybody from among you guys when you
The only thing I cared about was him.
Sometimes arguing can lead to something physical, which then can lead to something else. Did you do anything, or did he do anything to you that would cause you to react in any kind of way to be violent with him?
He was always amazing with me.
Did
He
he
never put his hands on me.
ever threaten you with any weapons or anything?
Absolutely not.
What about last night?
Not that I remember.
Does he have any weapons?
I mean, we got knives. He likes knives. He's got them around the house. And there is a gun upstairs in the master bedroom, a SIG. But that's it, really. Nothing too extreme.
On several occasions, Melissa praises Matthew, only to turn and berate him the moment blame seems to shift her way. She insists the cut on her hand came from picking up glass and maintains they never fought. But when an officer arrives to take photographs of her, they notice more than just the cut on her hand, and it's enough for them to start asking questions she hadn't prepared for.
We looked a little bit more. We thought your scratch was kind of small, but then we saw that it was bigger. But we also saw, it looks like we call it abrasion, but maybe a scratch. Tell me about that on the left side of your neck, yeah.
This, that I don't have an actual explanation for you besides, I mean, I don't know. I could have done it myself this morning for all I know, going through my panic attacks and stuff, because I don't hurt myself, but sometimes I do, like when I have an anxiety or a panic attack, I'll grab at myself without realizing it. So I don't know if that's that, but I don't know.
Did somebody else scratch you?
Nothing I know of, no.
Would you know if somebody scratched you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you said not that I know of, so.
I mean, I don't know
if
where
he
it
scratched
came
me,
from.
I would know he scratched me type of thing. That's why I'm asking.
I have no real explanation for it besides I do this when I get anxious, and this morning's been a roller coaster and it's all been down.
No. And earlier when we were talking to you, we didn't know about that, so that's why we didn't ask about it.
I don't know.
Scratch on your stomach, or the abrasion on your stomach when the Miss Patel was taking photographs, you had a red line.
Yeah, the
right
mark
there.
on my stomach. Could be from leaning over the counter, or I don't know. It's a straight line, so it's not like I got hit or something.
Okay.
I don't know if you looked at the photo, but it looks like I leaned over something wrong, or
It's very level. I would say.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
level.
I could be me leaning over the counter or something like that. I mean, we were putting up the pumpkin man, doing a little bit in the yard in the garage yesterday, and I'm accident prone.
And you said, tell me again how you cut yourself?
I don't remember exactly. Because I remember it was this morning, because I remember getting some blood on him. I think I was looking for a phone, and I was panicking and picked up the glass. Is because I knew it was this morning. I remember that. I think I just couldn't find a phone at the time between the mess that the kitchen was, and I was just panicking.
That's a pretty significant cut.
Yeah, well, I was panicking pretty bad.
Does that look like a glass cut?
I don't know what it looks like. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
It must have been a pretty big piece of glass.
Well, I remember there was the glass in the kitchen was a big mug.
Okay.
So it could have been that. I picked that up and was panicking, kind of. I don't know. I just remember it was this morning. And
When's the last time, again, that anybody besides the screen guy was at your house, like a visitor?
we just had the windows replaced not too long ago. So I mean, those guys were there, but before that, probably been a month or so, month and a half. Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Melissa seems to believe that if she sobbed and performed the story well enough, the way she does for her subscribers, she would walk out of there without a problem. What she didn't realize was that she had already made a critical mistake the moment officers first met her.
You said that last night you never woke up at all.
Not that I know.
You either did or you don't. I'm not tricking. This isn't a trick question.
No, I don't remember waking up. I remember laying down and I remember waking up in the same spot.
I spoke to the deputy at the scene,
Mm-hmm.
and he said when he first spoke with you, you made a comment to him and had said that, well, what were you and Matthew arguing about last night?
I don't really remember. I mean, we might have gone in argument, but it didn't seem like anything. I mean, sometimes we do whenever we get one of us, whenever he drinks a little too much, but I always just brush it off and go to bed. It could have been, I'm not exactly, I don't know.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because you told the deputy that you guys were arguing. And you've been pretty detailed about everything that happened yesterday. I mean, even how you woke him up yesterday, that's pretty detailed. So I would think you would remember what you guys were arguing about. That's why I'm asking.
Because, I mean, he did have a lot to drink last night. I know that, but I don't really remember it because it kind of is not that we fight and argue all the time, but he just, we'll just get drunk sometimes and he gets a little too amped, like wants to, I don't know, he goes on about something. Like I said, I think it was, when I said he was talking, I think that's kind of ties into it. Like, I just want to go to bed, and he would be like, no, like, stay up with me, come on, let's have fun, blah, blah, blah. And we get in arguments about that sometimes because I just can't stay up, I'm just tired. And he would, drunk him would get, like, disappointed about it. So it's not, like, actual arguing, but it was more, like, made me feel guilty kind of thing. Like, we weren't, like, screaming at each other that I know of. We were just...
How long were you guys arguing for?
I don't know exactly. Like, I wasn't keeping tabs on the time.
5 minutes.
Maybe 10.
An hour.
10, 15, I would say, is normally our back and forth. And me, I'm like, drink water and shut up kind of thing normally.
You probably weren't arguing with him when you had the hiccups in the...
Oh, no, we weren't arguing then. I don't know, because he was trying to calm me down.
It must have been after the burping and the hiccups and before you went to sleep.
Yeah, it had to have been then.
Well, you mentioned the argument may have been because you just wanted to go to sleep and he's wanting to hang out and talk.
That happens, yeah.
Okay, but that was also the time you were basically falling asleep while he was giving him the and just whatever he was talking about.
That's about right.
But is it fair to say that you guys were arguing, but you just don't remember what you were arguing about?
You could say that, but I can't.
I'm not saying anything. I'm asking you. You guys.
It's fair to say we may have been, but we might not have been.
Okay.
Because it wasn't significant enough for me to actually remember it.
Okay.
Seems like maybe a little tiff, back and forth, normal shit, but nothing monumental.
Okay. Tell me about what happened around 4 o'clock this morning.
4 o'clock? What happened at 4 o'clock?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
I don't know either. Why?
Was there any arguing?
At 4 o'clock? Not that I know of.
You would know because either you were sleeping or you weren't.
I believe I was asleep.
Were you asleep at 4 o'clock this morning?
To my knowledge, yes.
Do you remember being awake at 4 o'clock this morning?
No.
Did you and Matthew get in an argument at 4 o'clock this morning?
No.
Or 4:30, somewhere around that time? Right.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
And any time between when you went to bed at 11 to when you woke up, I think you said 20 minutes before you called us, right?
It was right around, yeah.
So let me just make sure I have the right time, so I'm not talking.
The call came in at 8:45.
8:45 is when the call came in, so you said about 20 minutes, maybe, even if you lost track of time, say you wake up at 8. Any time between when you went to bed at 11 last night to 8 this morning, did you have any arguments with Matthew?
No, not that I know of.
Well, I mean, you say that.
Let me say this. So we've been talking to the neighbors. There's cameras all over the neighborhood. There's Ring doorbell cameras and everything.
Okay.
Okay. Sometimes when we ask questions, we usually know the answers to them already. That's why we're asking you this
That's
question.
why I'm getting the feeling.
Around 4 o'clock this morning, something happened at your house. That's why we're asking.
Okay. What
The only
happened?
person, I don't know, the only person that can tell us that is you, because unfortunately Matthew's not here.
Yes,
I-
I know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Okay.
What were the neighbors saying? What?
It ain't what the neighbors are saying, it's what's on video. There's arguing coming from the house. It's a male and a female. And you told us earlier in your statement that the only people that were there all night long were you and Matthew.
I have no memory of any argument at 4 a.m.
Okay.
If it was at 4 a.m, I will tell you right now, I did not stay up until 4 a.m. I don't know, maybe it's possible he was still up and drunk and woke me up and we got in an argument over that.
Did that happen?
If it was 4 a.m, then my was dead asleep, and if he woke me up, then I was still half asleep.
Contrary to Melissa's claim that the two had a half-awake argument after Matthew woke her up, what the cameras captured sounded more like something out of a horror movie. By this point, detectives already had a pretty clear idea of what had happened inside that house. The real challenge now was getting Melissa to say it herself. And with 2 different cameras saying the same thing, it was only a matter of time before her story fell apart.
So tell me about the argument that you and Matthew had around 4 o'clock this morning.
I have no memory of that.
Okay. But it wasn't anybody else because there wasn't anybody else there. I'm being totally transparent with you.
I have given you the information that I have.
Okay. Well, just asking because something happened there. Matthew, unfortunately, is no longer with us. And I have some video surveillance that over here is a conversation, actually yelling and screaming between a male and a female, coming from your house. So I know you drank some, but you said you weren't on any drugs or taking any medication. So I tend to believe that he may have woke you up. For why he woke you up, I don't know. Why you guys were arguing?
I know he got really drunk, so I can't say. I mean, sometimes when he got really drunk, he got really drunk. He would say, like, he was an alcoholic. He got belligerent sometimes. Not hurt me, not touch anything, but he would get just drunk, like, out of control drunk.
Let me ask you this. When you went to sleep, let's say approximately 11 o'clock last night, and until you woke up this morning, did you use your cell phone to call anybody or anything?
Not that I know of. Did I do it without me remembering?
Do you have a tendency to do things without you remembering?
No. That's
Okay.
why I'm confused right now.
I'm a little confused too. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, because that's not me.
Okay.
Not
So
at
if
all.
something happened, you would remember?
Yes, I don't really have memory lapses.
But you don't remember this morning.
I do not remember 4 o'clock this morning, no.
Here's, and I'm just gonna.
Okay, just no bullshit, please.
Exactly, no bullshit.
Cool.
Let's do that, because here's the thing. He's sitting here telling you, he's playing his cards. He's showing his hand to you. You guys played cards last night. You guys know how to play cards, right?
Yeah.
He's showing his hand right now. He's telling you that we have evidence that there's arguing coming from your house at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I don't want you to go down a road where you say that you just have no memory of that.
Okay.
What we need from you that would probably be a lot better off and make a lot more sense is to come forward and tell us what that argument was about it for you, rather than say you don't remember.
The argument was him waking me up because he was a night person, as I've told you guys. Him staying up till 4 a.m. whenever he got drunk is not unheard of. I would say he woke me up, and we got in an argument over that because he was still up at 4 a.m. drinking. When he had a problem, he knew about it. He knew he should fix it. He was trying to work on it, but being up at 4 a.m. drunk off your wasn't doing anybody any good. And that was what the argument was about then.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, you do have a memory of what happened, right?
Yes.
At 4 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay, so you're obviously upset because, so just so I'm following, he's drinking until the wee hours of the morning.
Right.
And that upsets you because of whatever he's doing wakes you up, and that's why you were upset.
I'm upset, yeah, because he comes and wakes me up, but also because...
Did he purposely come and shake you and wake you up, or did he just be noisy and that's what woke you up?
For me and for me to wake up like that, he woke me up.
Okay.
Himself.
And so what happens from there then? Now that you're awake and you're having this memory of arguing with him at 4 o'clock, what do you remember from that time?
I remember having the argument. I don't remember the kitchen there was no broken glass. There was no blood anywhere nothing. I just remember arguing with him.
Was there anybody else there?
Not that I saw.
Well, you guys have a doorbell camera, right?
Oh, we have a camera, yeah. It's a motion activated one, so but it's on a delay. So if my dog walks past and sets it off, 10 seconds before, it's not gonna go off again when the door opens. Does that make? Yeah, and it's got the delay on it, so it's not just constantly recording things.
With careful questioning, detectives gradually moved Melissa from claiming she couldn't remember to describing in detail what had happened inside the house. And even after they subtly reminded her about the cameras inside her own home, she still tried to explain her way out of it.
Why were you yelling at him? Up, get up, all that stuff.
Because he has a tendency sometimes, actually a lot of the times whenever he is drinking and gets that drunk into the hours of the morning, he will just fall over. He'd be standing, he'd be sitting, and he would just fall on the floor because he just gets that drunk. And I might have been, yeah, so I was upset with him and was yelling at him because I was upset that he had done that again.
I want to keep asking you some more questions.
Okay.
But I'm kind of at a point where I want to read you a couple things. Okay. This is an affidavit that we have. Have you ever been arrested before, anything like that?
No.
All right. Do you know what your Miranda rights are?
Are you arresting me?
No, I'm not arresting you. What I'm doing is protecting you, your constitutional rights, because I want to ask you some more questions. But I want to read you your rights and afford you the opportunity to listen to those rights before I continue to ask you any questions.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. Listen, there's no tricks here. All right. I'm not a magician. I'm just trying to figure out what happened.
Okay.
All right. You have rights, and I just want to make sure that they're protected.
Now Melissa is read her Miranda rights, meaning anything she says from that moment on can be used against her in court if it isn't the truth. It would also be the perfect time to ask for a lawyer. But instead of stopping the interview, she keeps talking.
Tell me a little bit more about the argument.
He was still up and he was drunk and being loud and he wasn't harming me or anything like that. He was just still awake at 4 a.m. being drunk, and then he did the thing that, he's done it so many times over where he just gets drunk to the point that he just falls over. And he's done it millions of times, and he'll be standing up and just fall over or sitting down and just fall on the floor. And the next morning he'll wake up with bruises on himself and not remember it. And have to drag him to try and get him on the couch sometimes. Getting him upstairs isn't really an option. I try and put him on the couch and try and drag him over there sometimes. Sometimes I end up just putting a pillow under his head where he's at on the floor.
Do you love him? Do you love him?
With all of my heart.
I can see that. Every time you shed a tear, it rolls all the way down your cheek, it goes to your chin, and then in your shirt. And your shirt is soaked. That's a shirt full of tears.
We may have gotten in an argument at 4 a.m. I would never, and he would never, we never would do anything to harm each other. We had a life together. We had plans, and everything was going perfect for us.
Is it routine for him to wake you up like that early in the morning?
Absolutely not.
How did it make you feel when he woke you up this morning?
I was pissed off. I was angry at him.
But you love him, right?
Absolutely.
Why would you say go yourself so many times? Because I can tell you this, as a husband, I've never told my wife, go yourself. I've never done that. Now, I don't know. All I know about your history with him is what you told me today. Or what I can say, I've never done that as a husband. Okay?
You might not have done that as a husband, but when he gets that drunk, sometimes he himself says a lot of nasty things to me, and sometimes just saying, go yourself off is just better than trying to deal with what he's saying. Because I know in the morning he wakes up, he won't remember a word he said. He won't remember passing out on the floor. He won't know why he has a big bruise up his back, because he fell over onto the counter one time and then hit the floor, and he couldn't figure out the next day why his back and his head hurt so much. I love him, and he was a good man, is a good man. But he said a lot of nasty shit whenever he got drunk sometimes.
And that happens a lot.
Recently, no. In the past, it's been...
When I say that, it happens a lot. We see it a lot in our profession.
Not just you two specifically.
I'm not saying you two. When I say we see that a lot, it happens a lot. I'm not saying to your situation. I'm just saying in general.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes people make mistakes. You know, I'm sure he loves you, but when he's drinking alcohol, he says bad things. But those bad things still come out of his mouth, and they still make you mad.
Yeah.
Right? You also said a couple of other things like, stay down, so die. What are you talking about?
That was me being pissed off at him that he fell over.
He fell over.
When he got drunk and fell over.
How? Where did he fall over at?
The first time was in the kitchen.
Okay.
Like near the pantry.
Mm-hmm. Did he get hurt?
I don't know, as hurt as you get from falling from over onto a tile floor. Not particularly.
Well, sometimes when you're drunk,
exactly.
You lose your equilibrium and you could fall or hit your head or anything like that. What about the second time when you fell over? Because you said the first time, so I'm assuming there was a second time. Where did you fall over?
Not more than I don't believe it was more than a few feet away. He tried to get back up, and then.
Let me ask you something. We've been sitting here talking for a few minutes, probably an hour or two at least. You told us that you guys were there, there's only two of you, the two of you were drinking. At first, you didn't want to tell us about the argument at 4 o'clock this morning, but you did, so I appreciate that, okay? But my problem is I got Matthew on the back porch with wounds from a sharp object Okay? And the only people that were there were you and him. So I'm trying to figure out what happened, because earlier when I asked you if he was right-handed or you were right-handed, you said he had 2 deep cuts, is what you said.
That I saw
That you
on
saw.
his arm.
Right. So how did he get those cuts?
That I don't know.
Matthew's injuries were both severe and telling. He had a deep stab wound to his back, along with defensive wounds on both arms, clear signs that he had tried to fight off the attack. One of those wounds caused rapid blood loss that would ultimately kill him. According to medical experts, if he had received immediate help, his chances of survival would have been high, but it was already too late by the time help arrived.
There's 3 sides to the story. There's your version,
His version and the
his
truth.
version, and the truth.
Uh-huh.
What I'm trying to give you the opportunity is, I'm trying to give Melissa the opportunity to be this good person over here that may have got upset and reacted out of anger and not her normal character, or this person over here that just is mean, manipulative, raging, angry, killer.
Premeditated.
Okay? Was it an accident? Because you were upset he woke you up?
I would
Or was
never
it something?
him.
Okay. Well, what happened? Help me, okay?
That I don't know.
Help me help you.
I don't know that part.
He's got wounds. The only people that think of it from let's imagine you're sitting right here, okay?
I don't know.
Okay. Let's just imagine for a second that you're sitting here in my seat and I'm sitting in yours, and I'm telling you the same story you're telling me. It doesn't even something happened. I need to know, was it an accident or just you reacting because you were upset and then you realized, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this? Or was this something that was planned that you were going to be doing this?
Absolutely not plan it.
I don't know.
Help us understand is what he's saying.
I love that man with all my heart. I never had those thoughts in my mind. My thoughts were, what am I going to buy him for Christmas? I don't know what happened. If it was an accident, then something. I wouldn't have let him just die had I known that anything like that had happened.
So there was no accidents.
I did not.
Because I'm gonna give you another little tidbit. There was something else that was overheard on that video.
What?
I'm not going to tell you what it was. I'm not going to give you everything. I told you I've been doing this for a little while. I'm not going to give you everything. I've given you enough. I've given you enough. You said something else. It doesn't look very good for yourself in regards to this incident. I want you to think back about that argument that you had and everything that you were saying or that you could have said. You made a statement. I'm not going to tell you what it was. But what I will ask, what did you do? Which one? This one or this one?
That one is not me.
Tell me about this one. I know that you wouldn't intentionally do it, but I know that an argument happened and the only two that were there were you and him. He's dead. You're not. You got a slice on your hand. A slice. That's what that is. It's a slice. How did that happen? It's not from glass. I can tell you that. I've been doing this.
I mean, I know I picked up, maybe it wasn't from it. I know I picked up the glass this morning. Maybe it wasn't from it.
I've been doing this for a long time. This one?
It is that one.
By turning her own statements against her, detectives forced Melissa into a choice: either accept being seen as a cold-blooded killer or finally explain what she had done to Matthew.
Tell me what happened. He pissed you off then. You didn't want to get up. He drinks too much. He called you names. You didn't like it. You got fed up with it. You actually said, go yourself.
And he's told me to go myself.
I know.
So help us understand that he's telling you you're saying you're not a cold-blooded killer, right? Okay, so obviously something happened because Matthew isn't with us. So what we're trying to get is what led to that versus the other side just makes you look like a cold-blooded killer if you sit here and say you don't know.
Listen, I just held my hands out, and when I said this one or this one, you said not that one, that one.
I would not.
I know. I don't think you would intentionally do it. I don't. I see all those tears right there in the middle of your chest. I need to know why. What happened? The only person that could have done this is you. You're the only person there. This one? Or this one? I don't think you're this one.
He's never... He was never violent towards me.
So why did you react that way? I'm asking you. I'm asking you.
He's...
This one or this one? This is your chance.
He gets drunk. He's never been violent towards me. He does get his knives out sometimes. And I don't want to tell you that he's put his hands on me. It's because it's not like he hits me, but he sometimes would maybe grab me or something and try, like, that sort of thing. He didn't hit me, and anything like this only happened whenever he was that drunk, where he was gone. He wasn't him anymore. I can't tell you why, if that's... Talking about it more now, thinking back on it. This is from me grabbing a knife out of his hand. I don't remember which one it was that he had. But it was from taking the knife out of his hand.
And then what happened?
I don't even know if I got the knife away from him doing this, but I know he had it. I don't... Do I need a lawyer?
Backed into a corner, Melissa breaks, stammers, and finally asks the question she should have asked hours ago. And it's only a matter of time before she goes for the self-defense angle.
If you think you need one, that's totally up to you.
I didn't get the knife out of his hand. With that, I pissed him off trying to do that. I swear he'd never hit me, never laid a hand on me, even when drunk. I will not let his name go down like that. But I do remember pissing him off when I tried to get the knife out of his hand. Because that was me. That's me. If you won't hand it over, if I can't get it out of his hand, I'll just grab the blade and get it out that way, if that's the only part of the knife I can grab to get it away from him. It's the first time I've done it. Because normally I can get the blade away from him. I pissed him off trying to do it. And things kind of escalated from there.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, my neck isn't from me. My jaw's sore, like I got hit. I remember being thrown over the counter, lying on my stomach. I think in the moment, things just escalated. Like I said, he got pissed off, got a little more aggressive with what he was doing.
Okay, and how did you react?
I was scared at first. He always scares me. Even his voice can scare me sometimes when he takes on a certain tone. I'm not trying to be dumb about this. I'm a lawyer.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and conclude the interview at 14:06 hours.
After listening to everything Melissa had to say, the detective had heard enough and ended the interrogation, and she was subsequently taken into custody on charges of second-degree murder. During her trial, her story shifted again. In her interview, she insisted that Matthew would never hurt her, but during her trial, Melissa claimed he was hallucinating, lashing out violently, quoting horror movie lines, shoving her, and even brandishing a knife, claiming that she was left with no choice but to defend herself. In the end, Melissa was sentenced to 20.5 years in prison for second-degree murder. Thank you for watching today's video. Whether you're new here or have been with us for a while, check out one of the craziest cases I've ever covered right here, or one of my newest uploads right here.